Hey there, it's Chris from Good Bros. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different on the channel because I want to give you guys a review of a piece of kit that I got my hands on. And I mean that. I want to give you guys a review because this tool is an absolute beast. I'm talking about the Rogue Ho 7-inch Travis tool. This tool was recommended to me back when I built the big berm, my second build video for the trail system here on the channel, and I got my hands on one and I am absolutely in love with it. So, let's start at the beginning. What is it? Well, the Travis tool is a combination trail building tool where each edge serves a different function. The primary edge, and the one that I definitely get the most use out of, is this. It's a 7-inch sharpened hoe blade. Opposite that, the Travis tool has a surprisingly functional pick, and while this small point won't replace a dedicated pick, it definitely does solid work. On the third side, we've got a beefy 4-pronged steel rake, and opposite that, we've got a flat edge that you can use to scrape and move dirt. And while Rogue is mashing tools together, you actually get 5 for the price of 4 because the flat surface of the head serves pretty darn well as a tamp. So that's the proposed utility of this tool. It can serve in place of a number of other tools all at once. But does it make good on that promise? Well, short answer is yes. If you have to hike or climb to where you're building and you've got one of these tools, you can leave your hoe, a 4-pronged rake, a tamp, and probably even a pick behind. If you're digging locally, where bringing a bunch of dedicated tools isn't really that big of a deal, just the ability to switch from a hoe to a pick to a rake and back and forth in a split second without having to go pick up more tools is a game changer for making digging a truly enjoyable experience. But I don't want you guys to have to take my word for it, so let's put this thing through its paces and see how it performs. I had cleared corridor for a new trail I'm working on, and it's pretty mellow grade-wise, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to give this tool a shot and try out some bench cut features. And in order to show you guys the speed of this tool, I staked out a feature in the trail, a small berm, and I want to time how long it takes to rough it in just using the Travis tool and a shovel. And the shovel's only really necessary to move bulk amounts of dirt in a way that a hoe wouldn't. Ready? Go. Now I did some editing to that build to make it a little bit more interesting to watch, but I really did film every moment I spent working on that feature, and in the end, it took me 47 minutes to rough out the whole thing. That's less than an hour of time to rough shape a section of trail that's about 6 feet wide and more than 35 feet long. The last berm that I built was quite a bit bigger, but it took me 4 days. It would have gone so much faster if I had this tool at the time. Now, I also want to address the specific reason I was looking into a tool like that. You guys have heard me complain about it. I'm talking about rocks. The soil in my area is super rocky, and in some places it feels more like a coarse gravel than a dirt. And much to my chagrin, there was one such area just a little further up the hill from my new berm. Leveling this area with a shovel and a pick would be an absolute nightmare, and I was expecting a ton of sweaty, back-breaking work to get this section of the trail into shape. But let's throw the Travis tool at it and see how it fares. Not only was I able to accomplish what I wanted, it was once again easier than I expected. Now I want to be straight with you guys. I'm sure you're wondering if there's any downsides, and so far I've identified 2 places where the Rogue tool just doesn't completely replace another tool in your arsenal. The first is, you just can't do everything with the pick end of this tool that you can do with a real pick. Oh man, this thing is not going to come out, is it? That's a huge rock. You can't use it as successfully to lever and pry big stones, and you can't use it to bust apart rocks in the same way a beefy, heavy, dedicated pick would. But it does a lot of the other things you can do with a pick, like breaking up hard-packed or rocky dirt, really well. The other area is that while the rake side of the tool services perfectly as a 4-pronged rake, it's never going to replace a proper long rake. Which is okay, I don't think it's trying to. And if you're doing some backcountry trail digging, I think it could even work in a pinch. It's just nowhere near as efficient as the genuine article. But in both cases, it's still a fairly decent substitute. And now, instead of bringing a hoe, a pick, long and short steel rakes, a tamper, and a shovel out when I want to dig, I can just bring a shovel, a pick, a long rake, and the Travis tool. I've yet to run into conditions that I can't handle with just those 4 tools. Oh, and a set of lobbers. So yeah, this thing is great, and what I've realized as I've used it more and more is that it feels less like a digging tool and it feels a lot more like a sculpting tool. The ability to switch between the different edges of the tool for different effects let you change the way you're interacting with the dirt moment by moment. It lets you react to whatever qualities of the soil you happen to run into, and it gives you an unprecedented amount of control over how you shape and interact with that soil. I don't know what else to say, guys. I love this thing. It is an absolute joy to use. Every time I've used it, I've gotten carried away, worked longer, and accomplished more than I set out to do. And on top of how the tool performs, Rogue's customer service is excellent. I ran into some serious issues with shipping, and when I couldn't even get a response from the carrier, as soon as I hit up Rogue, they took care of it, even though it wasn't their fault to begin with. They make an excellent product, they stand behind it, and they take really good care of their customers. I could not recommend it more. So, that's my first review here on the channel. Let me know what you guys think. I just liked this thing so much, and I would encourage anybody who's trying to do any kind of trail digging to look into it, see if it meets their needs. So I hope you liked it. If you guys are interested in more of this kind of content, more reviews of tools or any of the other things that we use here in the projects here on the channel, let me know. I can always try to work more of this type of content into the rotation here. If you want to see more trail building and a whole bunch of other DIY board sport type content, why not subscribe? It's what we do here on the channel. If you think you'd like to support, maybe help me buy some more very fancy trail building tools, you should check out the Patreon. If you got questions or comments, leave them down in the description below. As always, I love having you guys come along with me on this journey, and until next time, I'll see you soon. I want to give you guys a review of a piece of kit that I got my hands on. I want to say the thing that I mean to say and not something completely different.